welcome everyone to Love on the Planets for the week of October 29th. I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz in Long Island, New York.
Now, Armand, before we start, just to let all our viewers know that we're thinking of making some changes to how we do our videos and so on. So do tune in, everyone, next time, because there might be some exciting changes. Speaking of exciting changes, this is quite a week, isn't it? Because we've got Venus changing sign, although it's not changing sign into a new sign per se, it's going back retrograding into Libra, which we've had already. But even more important than that, Venus is going to be opposing Uranus for the second time. And you mentioned earlier, when was the first time, Armand?
September 12th.
Okay, so we've been through this already, and now we're retrograding back. So all of this is incredibly relevant for relationships. I mean, what do you think is the most crucial part of this for relationships?
I mean, I have to see it as a very spooky Halloween when Venus is retrograding opposite Uranus, which, to tell you the truth, I think that relates very much back to last Wednesday's full moon, when the moon was conjunct Uranus and opposite the sun. And then, then the sun on Friday hit Venus. And so this has been like a week of things, getting mixed up and changed around. And so, that was a surprise. This was a surprise. And now here comes the 31st, and right on Halloween, it really is trick or treat.
A lot of kind of more jangly energies, aren't there? I mean, that's really what my feeling is, that in relationships, it's a little bit hard to know where we stand. It feels like there could be nice surprises which could come out of the blue, but also there could be kind of unexpected, a little bit abrasive surprises, like unexpected events or people coming back into our past, which may feel kind of mixed in lots of ways. So it's not smooth in relationships. And also just the fact that each of us individually, we're going through so many changes right now that it's a little bit difficult to relate easily with others. I think it's really a time where we have to take care of ourselves and just keep trying to ground ourselves, because these energies kind of have us spinning in all directions.
I would look at it as being like sort of a two-prong attack there. On the one hand, we do need to ground ourselves. I think that is, clearly really important. The other side of the story, though, is that this is a time when there is a great potential for change. The thing is, it's all Uranian. So, you can upset the status quo. You're just not sure what's going to happen as a result of it. The outcome is not predictable. I wonder, if it is even possible. I think, for those who are in maybe relationships that are in a more vulnerable place, I wonder if it's even possible to avoid some of the changes that are coming up, or even if they should be avoided.
Yes, and I think really we're kind of creatures of habit, aren't we, all of us? And I think these Uranian changes can feel a little intimidating, particularly if your natal chart has a lot of earth in it or a lot of water. I think for charts with a lot of air, or composite charts with a lot of air and a lot of fire, some of these changes might feel quite liberating and exciting, because finally there's a sense of like being able to try something new, do something new, get rid of the old, draw a line under some of the old things. And one of the things I've noticed over the past week is that a lot of people's more hidden behaviors and sometimes not so good behaviors are coming to light. And so I think it is pushing people to make clearer decisions around, this isn't really a friendship, or this isn't really a good relationship for me. And so there's the energy to really say, time to say goodbye. It doesn't have to be in a harsh way, but it's just drawing a line under it and saying, that's it.
Well, this is happening. We have this Uranus-Venus opposition. Venus is retrograding, and it's happening right on Wednesday, which is the day of the last quarter moon, which is often a time of making decisions. It's often a time when we say, okay, well, where have we gotten thus far, and do we want to continue? We're going to reinvest in the next lunar cycle. So I think it's very much that kind of decision time. The only problem is, with Venus being retrograde and Uranus shaking up the dice, is that it's very hard to come to a decision that will stick. We may make the firmest of all possible decisions, to be together, to split apart, or whatever. and all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but in the coming weeks and through like the beginning of December, we wind up, redoing our decisions.
It's a time of huge uncertainty, really, is what we're saying, isn't it? And of course, we haven't mentioned yet Mercury in the mix. And Mercury plays, Mercury, of course, who's the planet of communication, really has quite a few aspects and changes this week because he's conjunct Jupiter on the Monday in Scorpio. So that's quite a lot of intense conversations, potentially looking at truths. And Jupiter expands whatever he touches. So really, we're going to be thinking very deeply, but kind of in a way that really nothing gets, it's like all secrets come to light, let's put it that way. Also, he's trying Chiron that same day. So some of what may come to light may not feel so pleasant. So just be aware of that. And then, of course, he moves into Sagittarius on the Wednesday, the same day as the Venus opposite Uranus, and he's also quincunx Uranus. So that's a very direct Mercury that might really blurt something out.
I think blurting things out is just starting with Mercury conjunct Jupiter, and then going throughout the whole week. I mean, it's very, very likely that blurt something out that you might, Scorpio, you might want to have kept it hidden, and here it comes. It gets pushed out there. So I think that is a real risk. But I want to say something and then Mercury goes from being Scorpio, where it's very emotionally driven and talks a lot about feelings, to Sagittarius, where it can just sort of, it's a blurt things out type of sign. Not in a bad way. Well, it is a facet of Sagittarius to blurt things out. The thing, though, about having Mercury in Sagittarius is that we get some fire in the sky for good, as opposed to, for a while anyway, we've had very little fire energy in the sky. And with all of these things that are happening, it's been very, very difficult to feel inspired and enthusiastic. It's sort of like, things are changing rapidly, but we don't necessarily have that sense of where they're going, or that they're going anywhere, in fact.
So really, you're saying it's going to give us a little bit of optimism, really, because that's what fire can do. So, I mean, in terms of, fun times this week, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends where you are. If things are going pretty good, then I'll tell you that Halloween, Venus opposite Uranus, that's go out, have a big costume party, make it a lot of fun, and really enjoy yourself. The weekend has okay energy. The problem with that is that the moon will be waning into next week's new moon, so it's not that charged up. I would say try to get stuff done early in the week if you're going to go out, do midweek, early week fun.
Yes, because Venus is quincunx Chiron as well on Saturday. So that just might not feel quite so kind of let's go out on a great date night. So maybe, as you say, the middle of the week, depending, where your planets are at, where your natal chart is at. And also don't forget, anybody, if you want a consultation about what's going on in your relationships, just contact us via our website. We're very happy to do joint consultations with you on your own or with your loved ones. And we will see you next week. Did I leave anything out?
I was going to say we are offering a course in relationship astrology.
Of course, how could I forget that? Yes, and we'd love you to enroll. This is the first of its kind, and you can do it from the comfort of your living room at any time of the day or night you wish to, because it's online distance learning. So do check out our website for all of that wonderful information. And we will see you next week with some new ways of doing our videos.
Be a little bit of a surprise.
Yes. See you soon. Bye, Armand.